So the thing that I noticed is similar to you is that over time, I noticed my own habits were shifting as even in my, of course, in my business, when we dove into AI pretty early on with ChatGPT becoming mainstream, I noticed that slowly but surely my own personal habits would change. I would start, like you, researching things through ChatGPT and Claude. And I found that even if we had like a family vacation coming up, instead of going to Google or some of these other sites, I would be asking ChatGPT questions about where I was going, what would be a great itinerary, what activities to do. And so these itineraries, including businesses and locations, would show up. And so the more I thought about it, the more I thought, gosh, this is so different from what we used to do before. So I'm happy to share what we've discovered and steps that you can take to become an expert or business that AI recommends. So let's go ahead and dive into the slides here so I can kind of walk you through this. And so here's the theme: become the expert AI recommends, the framework for getting recommended by ChatGPT, Google AI, every AI assistant, different large language models. And so this is what happened when I started playing with doing searches for experts. So I asked ChatGPT for 5 recommendations for business coaches for entrepreneurs, right? There are 5 recommendations, but the first one was business coaches for entrepreneurs. And so came up with 5. Some of these you might be familiar with: Marie Forleo, Brooke Castillo, James Wedmore. And here's the thing with the like number 4, number 5, they didn't reflect the best 2 that I know. And I was like, what is the deal here if they're not showing up? So something that you can even do for those of you watching is you can try to ask ChatGPT, if you haven't done this already, to recommend someone in your industry and see who pops up. And I noticed that this wasn't a fluke. This is a pattern. My team and I have done some test searches. So we were looking for recommendations of a therapist or a branding consultant, a photographer, a business coach. We already shared that one. And we noticed that what happened is there were certain people that we noticed were missing, like people that we were familiar with were missing from the list. Even if they had 20 years of experience, they maybe weren't mentioned, or if they were an award-winning photographer, AI had no idea. So there are good people and experts and businesses everywhere that are missing from every answer. So we look at this as kind of the AI visibility crisis, right? People have shifted their habits from asking, going into Google or just mindlessly scrolling on social media to be targeted. But when I think of this, it's like, wow, we've all shifted, right? A lot of us have shifted to not only going to ChatGPT or Perplexity or Claude, but even when we go to Google, we put in a search question and even Google has an AI answer. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is what's interesting is because I sometimes just want old fashioned Google and I'm like, just give me old fashioned Google. If I want AI, I'll literally go to Claude. But yeah, I have really noticed lately that Google does just give you an AI answer, which is why it's so important that we understand, I feel, how to actually show up.
Absolutely, right? It's one of those things where if we haven't set ourselves up for being recommended or even machine readable, then it may miss us. So it's interesting how even our own habits have shifted. And then AI decides who gets mentioned. So it's not just about ranking pages anymore. It's about choosing names and surfacing those names. And this number 3 can be a little bit painful. Your expertise doesn't matter if the machine can't read it, right? So even if you have this great wisdom and brilliance and expertise, it can be invisible, and that means that you're not recommended. So, here are the 3 reasons AI skips good businesses. So, first, if your offer is implied but never stated, so you know what you do, but a machine reading your homepage doesn't, meaning it doesn't really see what you do, what you offer, what problem you solve. Your audience is everyone. So, if AI can't recommend you if it doesn't know who you serve. So, I mean, this is something that a lot of us, maybe if we've been around for a while, we know how important it is to have a target audience, to have an ideal client avatar so that we know who we're speaking to. The third reason AI skips good businesses is your expertise is spread across 12 topics. So sometimes people have been building their expertise over time and they have so much content that they're sharing that it's a little bit confusing to the AI machines that are looking for a next level of clarity. So while it might be beautiful to the humans, it is invisible to machines. So we want to make sure that we don't get skipped. Right. So, if you look at the past and where we are now, this is where we can look at where your traffic actually went, right? So traffic meaning where people have been searching. So even as recent as 2020, someone may search in Google, for example, have 10 blue links, so clickable links that they go to websites. One of them would be your website, and then maybe you would get a new lead as one form of traffic. Now people search just like we were saying before, even on Google, AI gives the first answer. And so oftentimes people, they're looking for answers, not necessarily websites. And if they get the answer, they don't need to click on anything. So there's no click. So what we've seen is that AI overuse reduced click-throughs by 30 to 60%, sometimes even higher than that. So your traffic didn't disappear, it just went to an AI answer that sometimes doesn't include you. So we want to make sure that we get ahead of it so that it does include us ultimately. So I found this to be really interesting. If we look back into history, right, the three waves of discovery. Now, some of this does go before I was born, fortunately, but I feel like I'm dating myself when I can see that middle section. I'm like, yep, I have some memories of that time. But wave number one was really about phone numbers. People were finding businesses by calling them up, old school. It's the brick and mortar businesses that had the solutions that you needed. Wave number two, that's 98 through 2023. So the first one is 1960s to the 1990s. Wave two is 1998 to 2023. And that's where that wave of discovery was about web addresses, websites. So if you weren't on page one of Google, you might miss the customer. And now, wave number three, 2024 through now, it's all about AI answers. So if we miss being an answer through AI, we may miss the customer. So we're already 18 months into wave three. We're still early though. There's a lot of businesses who aren't aware of this, but this is the time to really set ourselves up to become answers through AI.
If you want to watch the entire episode, click here. And if you want to watch more episodes like this, click here.